My name is Tracy Kummer, and I am a certified life coach through Clear Inner Focus. Patty Jackson was the woman that trained me, but I am a physical therapist in a prior life and potentially in the future. I'm not really sure where I'm going to go with that yet. I am a mom. I'm divorced. I've worked through all of that. I'm remarried. I have an awesome husband, 3 boys and a stepdaughter. And I am also a cancer, I wouldn't say survivor, I'm going to say warrior, because I am working on, I have multiple myeloma, a cancer that is one not curable yet, but very, very, very treatable. So I live with it. And I say that because alcohol plays a role in what I'm doing. I would like to start with that. I would like to start with also some housekeeping. If you could grab something to write with, I'm going to do a tool. I would love for just a piece of paper, a pencil, whatever, to help you to do the tool with me. It's always better when you participate instead of just listen and watch. You feel it, you can feel a shift, and you can get a little sense of what we do. I will just keep talking for a little bit. Well, potentially you get your paper and everything and make sure you're in a good spot. I decided to do this webinar because I am alcohol-free at the moment. I've been that way for almost a year. And my experience with alcohol has significantly shifted. I've learned so much, and I've used, well, one was This Naked Mind is a book by Annie Grace. That I'm going to say that because I do owe her that. I've learned so much about what happens in the brain, the neurophysiology and the chemistry and how things shift. And actually, for me, that was very, very helpful. And I've also used a lot of life coaching tools that have significantly helped me to make my dreams come true in regards to alcohol. So a life coach, in case you were wondering, is someone who helps you to know what you want. It helps you to connect your heart and your soul with your mind. Helps you to get unstuck. Helps you to see things differently. We're not mental health people, and to cover some bases, I don't want to discredit any therapist or psychiatrist or what your doctor is telling you. And in fact, if you have potentially, if you drink a lot and you do need, this is something you haven't quit for a long time, or you haven't taken a break for a long time, and I certainly, want to let you know that you should talk to your doctor. This is something that's, very, very unlikely you'd have a physical withdrawal symptom from it. But if that's something it's in your gut, I would listen to it and I would talk to your doctor. So that's just disclaimer. The rest of this should be pretty fun. And I just want to acknowledge everybody that's here, everybody that's listening for taking the chance to look at something that's hard to look at, that we don't always want to look at. So, and looking forward to some tools to make it a little easier to have it in your life or to not have it in your life. So I thought I would start with my personal story, because I feel there's a lot of value in my personal story and hearing others. I wouldn't say that I hit rock bottom. I wouldn't say that looking at my alcohol was because I was at this place where my life was terrible. It was just, all that stuff. I think alcohol affects our lives in so many ways that it's okay to just not like how it's affecting our life. It's okay to want to make different choices without feeling like I have to quit. I'm this alcoholic, which I will talk about later. And it's okay to explore looking for what you really want and how you want your life to be. So my parents both drank. It was very common. My parents used to go in their friend's van that had a refrigerator. So it was a custom craft van, and they had a refrigerator and a bunch of cocktails and drive all over and go out for dinner and all that stuff. Alcohol was the way they got together on Friday nights and had wine together. They celebrated with it. We practiced first communion, had with wine when we were 8. So alcohol was something that I saw a lot of, and not in a bad way. And it was just very in front of me. It's part of our culture. It was part of my culture. And so, but I wasn't a huge drinker. I was a firstborn goody two shoes kind of. I was scared. I didn't do a lot of drinking in high school, college. I definitely did college drinking. But actually, I found I was I didn't really love those spins. I didn't love some of that stuff. It's funny how you push through it just because of everybody's doing it. But so I increased my tolerance, turns out. And I also went to France for a year. I also learned that, a little bit more, I drank more wine, but I also noticed the women in France, the girls my age, there were some drinkers, but a lot of the women the girls that I knew, whatever. Wasn't that big of a deal. Their parents, they didn't even have wine. I was like, wine with dinner, sure. And they were like, no, they didn't do it. They looked at it differently. So it was just something that caught my attention. And then I graduated as a physical therapist, lived on the East Side, got married. And the dysfunctions that I had for myself, with what I didn't know about myself, kind of started to get covered up with alcohol. And I have this husband now that traveled all the time. Not only did we have major issues that I just didn't know about, he traveled all the time. And I had bought this duplex in Delafield when I was 26 years old. What was I thinking? I was so lonely. And I found that, I had a regular drinking habit of a couple beers a night. I also smoked at the time because I learned that in France too. So kind of the two went together, and I really found that it made life a lot easier to drink during the week. So I started a drinking habit every day for pretty much my whole life since I was 22. And I had that little voice say, is this a good idea? At least I had the voice, because then I said, okay, I'll have 2, but I know I want one more, but I'm not going to. I'm going to bed. And it was fine. But on the weekends, oh my gosh, we partied, drank way too much, the classic, it's normal, all that. And it is normal for here. It is. But if you really look at it health-wise, I was drinking a lot. Oh, by the way, weekends would start on Thursdays, of course. So, I am just going to check in here. Cool. Okay, I got a lot of people coming. All right, I just want to make sure I was good. Sorry, little check-in. So that carried on, and I found myself, and I can talk about it a lot now, mommy juice. I started really, once we moved again and started having kids, and his traveling didn't end, and I was alone a lot and under a lot of stress. And kind of like what's being even advertised now is how much we need, our wine and our alcohol to help us. And it was my only break. I quickly coped with drinking, and I loved it. It really helped, or did it? But I thought it helped. And I should have known that my son came in, and he was probably 5, my son, my oldest. And he said to me, Mommy, why are you so obsessed with beer and wine? And I was like, oh my God. Well, you, first of all, but I didn't say that. And I really found that stuck with me. He's 23 now. So 18 years later, I did not forget that. But I wasn't ready to deal with it. And I really didn't know how. And it's okay. It's not something I'm ashamed of in that sense. So I continued, and it would escalate. And then I just knew I have to bring this back in. I have to reel it in. So I did, and I would reel it in, and it was a struggle for a while, but it helped. It helped to give myself a break and start over. And then as my marriage got worse, I ended up, we both drank a lot. He drank a lot, and there was a lot of not so nice behaviors that came out at that time. And it was not a good thing. We were stuck in this horrible place. And I quit to see, is it the drinking? What's the problem? And I have to own some of that. I drank. And it in the sense that when you're under the influence and trying to have a conversation, which of course it was never a conversation, it was arguments. It wasn't good. I had less control of what was happening. So, but I took that break, and it really empowered me to start looking inward. I did some yoga trainings, which really helped. So in the end, I went back to drinking again. And that was, I'm happy with that. So as we got divorced, and then I was by myself again, which turns out it's good to know about myself. And we'll go over that. It's something that let me know when I'm lonely, alcohol helped. It helped just make the night go faster. It helped. It just was nice. And I was lonely a lot for a while until I figured it out. And then I did have a lot of therapy. Now, don't get me wrong. I had about 7 years of that. So whatever, more, and some couples therapy before we got divorced. We really, really, really worked hard. And I'm really thankful for that, because I learned so much about myself in those relationships. And now as you look at alcohol, it is important to know yourself. Alcohol is not just a simple thing. If it were simple, you wouldn't be here. You'd have figured it out. And so I was able to figure myself out more. And then I was done. I felt good. I moved on from that. I could use those tools. So, but what happened is then I got remarried to an awesome husband. And I'm sharing this because I think it's the same with drinking. He wasn't my type. That was my belief was he wasn't my type. But I quickly found out when I started to say, you know what, I'm just going to see how I feel with him. And I was like, wow, I like him. That was fun. I like that. Wow, I really had fun. I'm going to see how I feel tomorrow night. Wow, I had fun. And that, looking at your beliefs about something, like I have a type. Well, it turns out the last one I married my type didn't go so well. So really allowing yourself to see things differently, change your mindset. So I'm setting this up for the alcohol piece, I promise. But Keith loved his cocktails, and I love my wine, and then we combined them. And that was a lot. And he didn't normally drink during the week. He was trying not to, and I did. So I'm like, screw that, I'm drinking. And we drank a lot. And so he drove, so I could relax. All these little things that happened in my life that got me to a place. And I always knew, like, how much did I drink last night? I don't like that. Oh, I don't like what I said. I don't like how I feel. But the real kicker, I came to a place where I decided I would let myself know when it was time. And I feel like for everybody, just to know when it's time now, like this is just a step. This can be whatever you want it to be, but a step to really learn how, what you want in your life and what that looks like. You don't have to quit. You can just explore. You can try to just create new habits and mindsets. Do you like that? Is it working for you? Or maybe you want to quit. I didn't start off wanting to quit for good. So I wanted, so to back up again, I ended up getting cancer. And at first I didn't quit. And lots of reasons it escalated because I was, on a steroid that made me crazy. And then I would drink more because I felt crazy and whatever. And once I actually threw up when I was drinking by myself, and I was like, oh, I don't like that. And then all these things came together for me, all these things. And I knew that would happen because life moves you forward. Life, if you're listening and you're not trying to control it, it'll slowly help you know what you need to do. And so and that was one thing that, like I said, was starting to say is I decided it was time to let myself, I would know when it was time to do something different. And so that time came in February last year. At Christmas, I'd been drinking all day and I couldn't remember what my boys gave me the next day for Christmas. And I was so embarrassed. My youngest had been calling me out on having a little bit too much to drink, Mom. And he, would say, Mom, I texted you. Don't you remember? Why didn't you remember? And I didn't remember. And I don't have a great memory, so there's that. I mean, even now, a year later, I still am like, what happened last night? And not like, believe me, it's way worse with alcohol. But that was happening enough. I realized I don't want to be disrespected. And the first person is me. I want to respect myself. And I want my kids to respect me. I don't want them to be like, oh my God, my mom was so drunk last night. Oh my, or hey, Mom, have another. Oh no, I don't want that. And then I went out of remission for my myeloma, which is why I told you about that. And it went fast. It was slow. And I was supposed to get in this trial, and we were just waiting for my numbers to get to a level where I was supposed to be in this trial. And I ended up, all of a sudden, they tripled. And I thought, why am I not looking at my alcohol? I hate to break it to you, but alcohol is a carcinogen. You know about it with breast cancer. There's that interaction. But there's a lot of reasons why alcohol affects your immune system. And for me, especially, I was like, okay. I think that, and I came off this huge drinking vacation, which was super fun, but I was just the point where starting to taste yucky. So I knew for me, this was the time. So thank you for listening, but I hope that you feel and see in this a piece of yourself and how alcohol progresses a little bit. And so when I read Annie Grace's This Naked Mind, like I said, and it really gave me a lot of information. I had a lot of information that helped me. And the first one was how much my craving was actually a dopamine reaction. That dopamine was what I was feeling, that if I never drank, I wouldn't crave alcohol. It's the same with cigarettes. I felt like, for example, if I didn't smoke all day because I was at work when my 20s, when I did quit though, if I had, at the end of the day, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm stressed. I need a cigarette. It wasn't my stress. It was my lack of nicotine. It was the addiction to nicotine and what happens with dopamine in the brain causing a craving. So I learned that, and that helped me. And I was like, oh, that's all it is. Okay. I don't have a craving anymore. When I come home from work, I know what that is. It's just dopamine. So it's just dopamine making me seem like I really need to relax with alcohol. And so when I look at those things, that helped me. So I was going to quit for 30 days. I was like, 30 days went by. I feel pretty good. This is okay. I went for the next step, 90 days. And then I was like, yeah, I feel good. I don't like always thinking about alcohol. I don't like worrying that it's affecting my cancer. And it's nuts. I'm not supposed to drink on it with my drugs. Not that it ever stopped me before, but so I was like, all right, you know what? I'm going for a year. And I don't know. Someone asked me, what are you going to, you ever think you ever drink again? I don't know. We'll see. I'm going to see how I feel. So if there's anything in that can help you, I'm going to start. I wanted you to have that background because I felt it was important. And I also now want to go into more of a life coaching mode. And I have the chats. Please, please, please feel free to chat to me. I'm going to ask a few questions, and I'm going to try. It's on the right hand of my screen. I think I've got it. We'll see. If you wanted to potentially chat with me, and I'll read it, and I won't say your name at all. But what I'd like to start doing is we're going to go over grounding first. And I'm probably the more intense of all of you listening. But the most important thing is to start, getting out of the head and starting to ground and starting to listen to yourself. There's a lot of information that's helpful, and I have tools that are helpful, but they're helpful because they help you listen to yourself. And so I'd like you to close your eyes. I wouldn't have a clue if you're doing it or not, but I'm going to. And just sitting comfortably with your hands on your thighs, and take a really deep breath in and let it go. And just let yourself breathe normally. And I want you to feel yourselves seated. I want you to feel your hips, your thighs, your weight into your chair, the weight on your back. Feel your feet grounding into the earth. Allow yourself to breathe. Is your belly tight? Mine is. Let it go. Notice the set of your jaw. Let it go. Let your tongue be soft behind your upper front teeth. Soften your eyes. Release your shoulders. And notice your breathing. It's in the quiet that we hear. It's in the space when you ask a question, what do I do? It's not in your thinking brain, analytical brain, what everybody else says. It's down in your belly, in your chest, in your body, in your knowing. And it's knowing that some people hear their knowing as a voice. Some people can see it as written word or just see it as a picture. And some people just know. And in life coaching, we learn how to trust our knowing, because it's easy to think about it. It's easy to analyze it and question it and not believe it. So in this space, think of an intention. What's your intention for the next half an hour with me? What do you want to know? What do you want to look at? What's your intention for yourself? And slowly open your eyes. And if you'd like to type your intention in the chat, please do. So we're going to go through, and I don't know if I'm getting chats or not. And it's okay if no one wants to do it. This is okay. You share what you want to share. You don't have to share. You can just, and when it says to in the chat box, you can just do it to, can you just do it to me? I think you can just, oh yeah, you could probably pick my name if you just want to do that. And then I can read it and I won't say your name. My intention for tonight is to help you. I want to help I want to be clear in sharing the tools that have helped me. I have an intention that I'd like to keep track of how much I'm drinking and just notice. Another intention is to improve my self-esteem and overall well-being simply be happy. Awesome. So I think this is pretty exciting because I feel like, well, I'm going to start. So the first thing that one of our really big tools, something that I use a lot, is called the 7 steps to positive change. There are 7 steps. I'm going to kind of read through them, but I'm also but I'd really like to focus on 2. One is awareness, acceptance, and self-love, and the other one is desire. And that's where you're going to get a Clear and a Focus tool that you can go to the website, the Clear and a Focus website, and practice if you'd like. So the first thing is awareness, acceptance, and self-love. So I am going over that later. So I'm going to leave that. That's big. Your awareness of your thoughts, the awareness of what you believe about alcohol. I want to read another intention. One intention is to become more mindful about why I find the urge to drink every day. I love it. I want to reduce my drinking and feel settled. I want to be as healthy as I can. I love it. It's fantastic. Sorry, wiggling. So the first 2, awareness is acceptance, self-love, we're going to go over after I'm done. Desire, we're going to go over. Being open to receive. So what does that mean? For me, it's clarity, which is actually another huge reason why I decided to stop drinking. I wanted clarity. I was always feeling like I never had space to connect with myself, but clarity. And seeing what's around you, seeing that when you ask for help, it comes. That's open to receive. Knowing how you want to see it. I want it to be easy. I don't want it to be through AA. I don't want to be that sort of thing. Believe. Believe that it will happen. Believe you can trust yourself. Believe, oops, I'm just here. Okay. Oops. Believe that when you know what you want, when your heart and your soul is aligned with your mind, when your desires are all lined up, it happens. And it's not hard. It takes work. It takes you stepping into your fear, but it's possible. Your imagination is number 765, because you can imagine whatever you want, and where you focus your attention, things happen. So that wasn't the phrase I was looking for, but it'll do. If you imagine support, if you imagine finding people that support you, that understand, I don't feel like drinking tonight. I'm gonna pass. If you imagine it being easy, if you imagine getting what you need versus, oh, it's gonna be so hard, I hate this. That's where what you focus your attention on follow it, energy follows that. Experience number 6 is experience now is enough. Where you're at this moment, you could not be anywhere other than here. So whatever happened in the past, whatever happens in the future, all you can do is what you know. So forgive yourself, experience where you're at as enough. It's all you know. How could you do anything different? And look at what you're doing. You're allowing yourself to do something that's hard, to do something that you don't really want to do. Or maybe, you do and you don't. So I guess this is the place where I love my phrase, you can't put a square peg in a round hole. It's really, when you force something that you're not ready for, it doesn't work. So, wait till you find that square hole for your square peg. It's okay. Right now, what you're doing, no expectation. It's enough. And then practice patience and praise is another really huge one. I hope I get to a little bit more. But the example that I am going to use is practice, of course, means being aware of something after it happens, then aware of it while it happens. And hopefully you can get to the point where you're aware of it before it happens. All those triggers and all those things that make you think you need a drink or a behavior you don't want. So, and then give yourself patience, be patient. This takes time and learning and understanding and forgiveness for yourself. And, praise yourself like a little baby. When it's learning to go from crawling to walking, the baby doesn't judge and say, oh my gosh, I'm so bad. I drank too much last night. I fell. I suck at this. I'm never going to do it. The baby just gets back up, tries it again, or maybe waits a couple days and tries it later. And it's okay. So that's the 7 steps. I'm going to go back to awareness because for me, I have found so much information about, number one, that first step of like being aware of what's happening in my brain. And I'm not the expert at this. I can't recite all the research and everything. I read it through Annie Grace, but what I learned is that there's chemical reactions that happen with alcohol. And if you understand it, it can make it easier for you to choose something differently. If you're aware that, like I said, I am having a craving as soon as I get in my car and I'm on the way home, I'm like, I'm going to have a glass of wine tonight. I'm going to have a glass of wine tonight. I really want a glass of wine tonight. And I know that's my brain's already been, our brains are amazing, by the way. It already knows my pattern. It knows as soon as, that on every night, Tracy has wine. So guess what? I'm going to release these chemicals and she starts her cravings. And then actually the chemicals help to balance your brain before you even drink. So you've got this thing going on. But again, that helped me. There's other reactions that help when you drink so for example, what happens when your blood alcohol content starts to rise is that you feel awesome for 20 minutes. You got a little buzz and then it starts to go down. So what do? You have another drink so that you can have it keep going up, but it doesn't always go up quite as far. So if you kept doing it because when your blood alcohol level falls, you get tired, you don't feel as good. It's just not as fun. It's not that nice reaction that your body has when you have that first glass of wine or the second. Usually the third, it's starting to dim a little bit. Not that you still don't have a craving, because you still want to bring that back up. But that's where the awareness comes in. What is happening for you? Notice. And the best thing is you don't quit. See it for like right at the moment. What you do is, okay, you get home. All right. So I'm having this feeling and I really want a glass of wine. I have it. What's happening? What am I really experiencing? And how long does it really last? And then what happens? What do I want to do then? Just knowing what, as you experiment and play with this, and if it's the weekly drinking, great, or if it's the weekend, there's things to work on for that too. So allowing yourself to notice that, and then there's things that you can learn about that, and then is that what you want? So then try being open, knowing, okay, these are the things that happens when I have a glass of wine. Maybe it's not that I really needed stress relief that way. Maybe it's not I mean, alcohol is a depressant. It's a it relaxes your muscle relaxing even. But what if I came home knowing that my little craving is just dopamine? Okay. What if, because I always liked that buzz, so I didn't eat beforehand. So I'd always have wine before I ate, always. What if I sat down on my couch, put my feet up, got my favorite book, watched my favorite show, did something fun for me, and ate something that worked on my also sugar blood level, my blood sugar. Because chances are you haven't eaten since lunch and you've had a busy day. What if I had some good protein, some cheese and crackers, maybe not something that you'd usually have wine with, maybe that's not a good idea, but some almonds or, some hummus and chips or veggies or something that, whatever. And you took a moment to just really relax. How does that feel? What do you notice there? So those are some of the ways that you can look at being mindful with drinking. And even I'm going to jump to a weekend scenario, and then I'd really like to get to the clear and focus table. But the weekend scenario of, okay, I'm out with friends. We have a blast for the first couple of hours. And then I find myself just wanting more wine or whatever. I don't even feel like wine anymore. So more whatever. And I don't even get that same buzz. Now I'm just drunk. And now I even can tell myself, like, I don't even want this wine, but I'm going to do it because I'm going to do it. Be aware. What do you believe is going to happen with having more wine? I still have the craving. Maybe knowing that it's still just a craving. That the fun part is actually over. Your blood alcohol content is probably high enough that you're not going to be, you don't get that same buzz every time. It's like you go here, the buzz is great. You go here, the buzz is only this much. You go here, the buzz is like that much. And now, and just knowing that as your blood alcohol content does start to calm down, you also get that doesn't feel great either. And it's not that you just have to balance that in your brain by what you want. And I think awareness is the first step in doing that. Okay. I think I've been there plenty. It's actually something that's bothered me. And I've heard actually other friends say that it's bothered them because it's like, it's so much fun the first part of the night. Why am I doing this now? What's going on? And what is something that you can do to change that, knowing that information that would make you feel better? Maybe you just need to go home. What's wrong with that? Anyway, but those are all the things to start to, maybe journal about, just to stop the next day, or, especially while you're in it, to really feel that, like, okay, this is what's happening right now. What am I gonna do? So I'm going to attempt to share my screen to the Clear Inner Focus tool. And mailbox, mail quote Chrome. Here we go. And so I went to the clearinnerfocus.com. I'm going to do that again. Yep. So that you can see how to get here. And this is Patty Jackson is the woman I trained from, and where I learned a lot of these tools that are really helpful for me just in my life when I feel stuck or need, feel stuck. You go over to the three little lines, and then you can click on free tool and wait a little while and click your email address and your first name, submit that, and you will get the Clear Inner Focus tool, which I already have up, I believe. Here we go. Okay, and this one is for me to be able to, oh no, I lose my chat screen though. That can be a problem. I was going to have somebody volunteer to chat with me about, let me just see, can I pull that up? No. To see if they would chat with me about, oh, here we go. I have to just leave it part way then. And you get to see all my, not my yucky background, but I think I'm going to do this. I'm going to file, I'm going to bring it. And then I bet you could see my chats then, which probably wouldn't be great either. Okay, so what I'm going to do is if somebody, I'm going to shut that down. If there is somebody that would like to unmute, and you don't have to even show your picture, you can just unmute. And I have no idea what you're seeing, but I'm thinking that, what happens if I do this? Okay, good. So you don't have to look at all that. And I can do it myself, so I don't have a problem with this at all. I'm going to wait a couple minutes and see if anybody unmutes and says, I will share. What we're going to do is we're going to write with your pencil, pen, paper, what it is you actually want to focus on. So maybe it's I read some of the intentions, so it could be just drinking during the week. And for me, that was. And also for me, my struggle, and part of why I decided to keep going on not drinking is because I really hated thinking about it all the time. I'd be like, okay, I'm gonna have one glass of wine a night. That's it. But then I would be like, oh, I just want one more. One night it would be fine, but the next night I'd want more. And then there'd be an excuse. I'd go to my parents' house and I'd have 2 glasses, maybe 3. And then I would be, that, and then it would be Thursday. I'm like, wow, that's practically the weekend. So, or then it was, I'm just gonna have 2 glasses because that's more reasonable. 2 glasses is still okay. I'd buy the little cans so I didn't have the whole bottle open and be able to sneak a little more. And but that's like a half a bottle of wine. And sometimes because I told myself I can't, it made me want it more. So I was like, you know what? I don't want that. And so that's where I was going with this. So, okay, back to the clear and focus table. For me, the topic of focus is my drinking during the week. And I want to leave you a little space for what you want to write for yourself. Oh, come on. And so this table really helps us to get clear. And what I do for myself and where I go is, so now it's really important to not tap into your brain, but to close your eyes and feel and listen to yourself. Fear can come up here. Fear where you're like, oh, I don't want to deal with all that. I mean, I want to have it how I want to have it. But let yourself listen to your inner voice. You're knowing who you are. And I want to focus on what I don't want. Oh, you can write. Except I have no idea what that says. You're good. I wish I knew. You don't want to hate drinking during the week. Awesome. Thank you for doing that. Oh, that is wild. It's on my computer and not on the actual table. So I don't want to be feeling that I hate drinking during the week. And I don't know if that's actually what you meant. I don't want to struggle. I don't want to be, I mean, Keith can sit there and he can make dinner and slowly sip his wine. Mine is gone. And then I'm on my second, and then he has to hurry up and drink his because otherwise I drink more of the bottle than he does. And then there's a thing. And so I don't want that. I don't like that. I have that compulsion to do that. I don't want to have a craving for more. I don't want to wake up at 4 a.m. with anxiety. Because actually what happens is that 3, 4 a.m. thing can be, not always, it takes a while. Because I'm sorry, I did forget one thing. Alcohol is in your system for 7 to 10 days, solidly. And, so really getting I'm not recommending taking a 30-day break, but I'm asking you to be open to the idea of knowing to really observe with your drinking, and then observe not drinking. And know that your 7 to 10 days is not quite, it's still alcohol is in your system. So, so that I don't want the 4 a.m. anxiety, where my thoughts keep going and I really have a hard time breathing through it and falling back asleep. It's usually the blood alcohol level that's down, that your body's resetting, that now, the anxiety is balancing the depression of your blood alcohol. I see what you're saying, that your blood alcohol level dropping. I just got a suggestion. I don't want to feel insecure. And I don't know where that was going. I know you're trying hard. Miss Farley, I shouldn't say your last name, but anyway, I don't want to count how many drinks that I had the night. Is that good? I don't want to worry. What is this doing to my liver? I take a lot of medications. What is this doing for my cancer? I'm just going to write. And so I hope you're doing this with me on your own paper, if nothing else. I don't want my son to come home, call me on it, notice that I'm a little tipsy, and feel ashamed. I'm just going to use the big word, or embarrassed, but ashamed is really. I don't want to feel. The big one for me was murky. I didn't have. I had a hard time connecting with myself. To hear myself, to hear my inner self. So it's about the feelings, not always the actions. Like, I don't want to have more than 2 glasses, but why? What are you thinking? I don't want to feel like I can't relax. I don't want to feel like I'm losing control, or all those things. Be clear. So I didn't want to worry. I want to have cravings. I didn't want to be ashamed. I don't want to feel disconnected. I don't want to think alcohol is always the answer. So in a this session, we tend to do, it's a little bit more jarbled and not always so linear. But when you're practicing this, it's kind of nice to go, okay, I don't want to worry about my cancer. I want to know that I am doing, I don't want to be afraid. I want to know what I'm doing that I'm doing as much as I can to be healthy. I want to be confident. In my living, in my choices. I don't want to have cravings, so I want to be present with my glass of wine. I want to feel the feelings, know what they are, and decide what I want to do. I'm going to skip the 2 glasses because that's kind of the same. I want to enjoy. I know what I don't want. This is big for me. I don't want to plan when or constantly be thinking about, I don't know if I spelled that right. Okay, because what I do want is I want to be in the moment. I want to appreciate what the being present with my glass of wine. And I want to be able to really look at it to pass it up. I want to evaluate how I want alcohol in my life. How big, how small, how much? What does that look like for you? Every day, once a week, only on the weekends? And you see, if we put those parameters around that, then it becomes something you focus on, right? I know someone tells me not to do something, I most certainly am going to do it. But maybe I want to be present enough in the moment enough to decide every time if I think about, do I want a glass of wine? I want to be, clarity is what I really want. I want clarity with myself. And I certainly didn't have that night. And it was fuzzy the next day. I want to know, I don't want to think alcohol is always the answer. I want to explore how I can love activities without alcohol. Because I would question, is it the activities you love, or do you believe it's the alcohol that makes the activities awesome? Think about that. Is it the activities that you love, or do you really, or again, this is looking at your beliefs, Or do you believe alcohol is really awesome? Oh, now I can see the chats. I guess I'm super sorry, but I love this. I love this. I don't want to miss sleep due to my drinking. That's huge. I don't want to feel like crap the next day and waste a day. I'm so Zoom. My next Zoom is going to be better. I don't want alcohol as my vice for therapy with problems when they arise. Huge, 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 huge. So what do you want then? So what do you want? And that comes from that place. What do you want when you have issues and you're feeling crappy? You know, can I sit with it and be okay? Can I write about it? Can I find another way? I want to find another way. That's awesome. I want to find another way. Beautiful. Let's see if I can get here. So I want simplicity, happiness, and to be loved unconditionally. And I'm going to challenge you a little bit and say, I want simplicity, happiness, and to love myself unconditionally. I'm so sorry I didn't get this quite right, but I think you're the writing about it, and now I'm seeing it to share it. I hope it helps. All right. So given the time that we have, 8 o'clock, I'm going to finish this. It's really important. I want you to breathe and imagine this. Again, that imagining this is possible. You don't have to know wow. Don't get how. Don't stress out. I shouldn't say don't. If you get stressed out about how am I going to do this, it takes you away from your knowing. What you focus on expands. That's the phrase I was looking for. And so I want you to imagine all of those wants. Breathe into that and know they're possible. They are possible. And you're going to find the way, whatever the right way is for you. And so number 6 is, what is one step I can take today in the direction of the above desires? What's one little thing? What's something that you can take away from tonight, even take away from this, that has expanded your brain, expanded your thought, your mind, changed your mindset a little bit? Just focus on that one little thing and see, maybe not tonight because it's tonight, it's late already, but for the next day, focus on that, try it. And so I'm going to stop the share. And I'm going to say, looking inward, finding the path for you, not listening to how anybody else did it. It's the way to go. So I did want to, because I am a life coach, obviously, I'm available. It's back on that same website. I should have kept the screen share up. Actually, I think I probably should do this. Life coaching helps bring you back to you. That's really how I see it. And my goal is to help you. So I'm going to go back to the same website, and you would look for, under coaches, you would look for, I am a certified life coach. I'm newer, so I'm not a master yet, but look out when I am. Just kidding. So you're looking for the certified life coaches, and what you do, you click on coaches, go to certified, and it's just taking a little while. And then you scroll down to me. So you can do, single sessions, but really something that we've learned is, or Patty has created and really has had really, really good success with, and it makes a lot of sense, is doing 12 sessions and doing it every week for 3 months. You may or may not want to quit for one of those months. You may or may not want to experiment with still drinking for some of those months, however, whatever. If it's about alcohol, if it's about your stress in your life, whatever. This is all connected. And you can schedule a call with me, a 30-minute free call. There's not a lot of times available at the moment, but just, for a free consultation, email me. We can figure something out. It's just, I do mostly Tuesdays, but we can work something out. Or one of my thoughts is to potentially, around the subject of alcohol, if there were some interest in doing something as a group, because I feel like drinking is, for me, such a cultural everywhere thing. And it's always, you have to be reminded, like every now and then when I feel that I am wanting to, when I have FOMO and I feel left out, I go, wait, what do I really want? What do I really want? Well, I want my health. And I also know that I can enjoy things that I didn't think I could without alcohol. I know that already. And I don't want cravings. I don't want that right now. I'm not sure when and if I might experiment and try it again, but not yet. Not yet. So I'm just working on what's right for me. And that's what I hope that you find for you, whether reading a book or maybe doing life coaching in a group or through singular, however it works for you. I wish you the best. And I hope you got a lot from this webinar. It's just the tip of the iceberg. I probably fit too much in. So yeah, I think I've covered everything. You can reach me through that website, through the Clear and Focus under coaches, and then you can email me there too. I have that set up for you. And thank you so much for coming. I'm going to look at the last chat. And I think the last thing I would say is, before you go, of course, there's the one little step you can take. But think about a takeaway. Maybe that's it. Maybe it's this little step you can take. But remember one thing that stood out to you. Just one thing. If you're still here, share it. I know it's after 8 o'clock, but if you're still here, share it. The first class, all down here, being aware, exploring the cravings. It's just dopamine. Yes, yes, yes. Yeah, super, super, exactly. Very cool. Well, thank you again. I loved it. I might do maybe another one. I don't know, but I would love to continue helping you if you want to. And otherwise, watch out for another seminar or webinar. It just might happen. And definitely reach out for me though, through that website, just because it'd be easier to keep track of than me remembering how to contact you if you would like to do a group coaching. So, all right, everybody have such an awesome night. Thank you. And we'll hopefully connect too. I know a lot of you, so I hope I see you soon. And by the way, no judgment, that's everybody's different. My way is not everybody's way. You guys have your own way, and trust me on that. So, all right, take care, everybody. Bye. Oh, I love that.